All right, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our town board meeting. Let's all rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. We're going to start the meeting off with a discussion of mining. And what we had done at the town board, the second town board meeting in December, was we had talked about amending our current town code instead of coming up with a totally new section to deal with mining. And so we discussed some of the sections in the Carmeltown Code that we thought might be good start for us. So what we have presented this evening is two amendments, an amendment to, well, more than two amendments, but amendments to two sections of the town of code. We're amendment to chapter 77 and chapter 63. In chapter 77, which is the zoning code, the only addition would be a section G that says the omission of a use or type of use from these regulations shall be deemed to be an exclusion thereof from all districts. And that was the change to 77. In 63, we made a number of changes. So currently, our chapter 63, which is soil removal, 63-4, conditions of issuance. Right now, that's a one paragraph section of the law. We added additional language, again, borrowing from the Carmel Town Code. We added section B, no operation, and this was in the materials for the backup of the agenda tonight. So if you're following along, this is the section in blue. No operation shall be commenced or carried on which is primarily for the purpose of the sale or exchange of excavated topsoil, earth, sand, gravel, rock, or other substance from the ground. B1 says a building permit for building and or its accessory structures shall be deemed to be a permit for such excavation and or landfill necessary for the construction of that building and or its accessory structures, provided that the volume of any excavated material removed from the property does not exceed 2 times the volume of the cellar and foundation of the dwelling and or accessory structures for which the building permit was issued. The building inspector shall endorse the building permit to the effect that such excavation and or landfill is permitted, specifying the maximum volume of excavated material which may be removed. Subsection 2 of B, in those cases where the planning board has approved with or without conditions the construction plans for proposed streets and drainage facilities and new subdivisions and site plans, the approved construction plan shall be deemed to be duly issued for such operation with the right of way and slope sites of the proposed streets and areas reserved for drainage facilities as may be necessary for their establishments, provided that there is to be removed, that if there is to be removal of excavated material, said removal shall be disclosed as an integral part of the approved plan and duly endorsed thereon. All operations outside of street rights of way and slope rights and drainage facilities shall be subject to the permit and approval requirements of this subsection. Exceptions, municipal and other public operations, the provision of this subsection shall not apply to operations of or conducted by the town of Kent, County Putnam, or state of New York, or a department or agency thereof. the review procedure, the town board in making its determination shall report whether or not the proposed operation meets the following criteria. A, that the location and size of the proposed operation, the nature and intensity of the work involved in or conducted in connection with it, of the site in relation to it are such that upon completion of the operation and the establishment of the permitted use, the site will be in harmony with the appropriate and orderly development of the district in which it is located. And C, that the proposed operation will be incidental to the establishment, improvement, or operation of a use permitted in the zoning district in which the property is located.
So
And
we want to change C to B, right?
we want to change C to B. Well, actually, yeah, we want to change C to B. So, I mean, those were, some of the things that we had discussed. I went through the law from Carmel. I sent it along to council, and council incorporated it into our current soil removal. I think that these protections are kind of what everybody was looking for, that we're not having some operation just come in, level a mountain, take out all the minerals, and then leave us with a pit, but it wouldn't stop sensible development in town. So I think we should hear from the town board. I'm sure that members of the public have a lot to say about this, but why don't we start with the town board weighing in?
I'd love to hear the answer. I mean, the question that Chris Ruthven provided a few minutes ago on Old Six. I guess I have to refer this to council and Maureen, is our new code enhancing more than the adjoining town?
So this is what I did pose that question to Carmel. I thought I sent this to everybody, but maybe I did not, or maybe it wasn't sent to everybody. I just got this at 6 o'clock this evening.
No.
In reply to your inquiry about regrading plan on Old Route 6 in Carmel, I offer the following. On May 17th, 1972, an 8-lot subdivision entitled Meriwether Estates Incorporated was approved and signed and filed, creating the 8 lots in question. May 12th, 2012, a regrading plan was approved, signed, and filed, allowing the regrading of the lots to create a pad for future development under 156, section 156-43. And then they highlighted the section of the law that says all operations outside such street rights of way and slope rights and drainage facilities shall be subject to the permit and approval requirements of this subsection. So I don't know if that's clear enough. I don't know if this is because it was pre-existing and that's what they're talking about. Pre-existing by decades.
I'm sure that's been a long project. I go way back with that, I think. So that could be it. That could be the answer.
Yeah.
Just looking to see if there's any type of loopholes that, we didn't look into. But if that's pre-existing after probably 20 or 30 years, that's some cliff too with the bike way.
Yeah, Cliff. So I don't know what anybody thinks about this. I mean, I think doing it this way is more efficient than having an entire mining code. I think it speaks to what we want to do here, which is kind of protect our town.
Maureen, this has to be submitted to the planning board for a review?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't think we were ready to to schedule a public hearing, because this is the first time everybody is really sitting down and seeing it in our town code, incorporated into our town.
I guess another question as far as the exemptions, Counselor, do you see any type of conflict in any type of exemption by, for example, two different municipalities or any type of thing? I'm just throwing this out, making sure there's no loophole of any sort, and whatever other exemptions agencies are exempt for that.
I don't think you need to be concerned about that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anybody else?
I think you're right. I need a little more time to pick through this and comprehend it. And I've read it twice now, and I still wrapping my head around it. One
We
thing
got a
that
document. So we have a document to review, and it's a positive thing, and I thank you for working on it.
Thank you. So Chris, were you?
Yeah, there was one thing that just kept jumping out to me, and I think it's always been the issue, is it's saying that you cannot, I'm going to use general terms here, you basically cannot mine rock if that's your principal purpose for doing it.
Right.
But I think we all know that, hey, I'm going to build a materials warehouse. That's my principal use, and guess what? At the end, we have a mine, So I just worry that that leaves a loophole open in there the way I read it.
Especially
Except you're
with all the-
limited. You're limited.
especially with- Good.
Good. You're limited in the amount you can excavate, which, you're not going to be able to, go whatever, 187 feet down.
Right.
And then say, oh, we changed our mind. I mean, I think that's the most, concerning part, is that we're going to just basically level another hillside and have a scar on the town.
Maureen, do we come up with when there's a project coming on? I know there's some kind of bond that there has to be floated. Maybe something has to be included in this, that if they violate the code of some sort, there's that bond, or they lose that bond or something. I'm probably not coming up with the right terms, but take the example back on Northern Route 52. We were just coming in, but we got promised warehouses and commercial tax base. We promised this, we promised that. It was never delivered, and got taken to down I guess the previous administration with some of the promises. But how do you, money talks, and can we put in some kind of something that'll protect us a little bit better? I don't know how I'm saying this. Help me out, Counselor.
You're looking for some sort of a bonding requirement to make sure that they don't, operate a mine and deface the land, so that there's some money there to, to put it back together the way that it was supposed to be, that they'd forfeit if they violated the
Correct.
permit.
Yeah, I
Yes.
think that's a great idea.
I hope we can put that somehow. I know, we'll need our town attorney to look into that, but we got to protect the town. We've seen what happened to us in Northern Route 52, so.
Yeah, I think adding a substantial bond would guarantee good faith.
Now, maybe we have to call it special in addition to whatever the regular bond is, but again, Counselor, if you could look into that.
I will.
Any other board member want to be heard before we open it to the public? No?
Let's go.
All right. So I guess there's a chat function if you, raise your your hand. This way we can allow people into the meeting in an orderly fashion. Everybody gets a chance to speak. Okay. Okay, if anybody wants to be heard on this, now is the time.
Can't see any photos of anybody.
No, but there is a function.
Yeah, it's under
Okay.
reactions. If they
Okay.
click on reactions and point to raise your hand, then they'll be called on to speak.
Okay, so did everybody hear that? Okay, Eileen Civitello. Okay. Paul, are you gonna let them in or do I do this? Okay, Eileen, you're unmuted. Let me put your video on.
Oh, we got her.
Okay. Yeah, I'm learning. All right, Eileen, go ahead.
Okay, hi. I just wanted to understand because this is basically our current town, what you've sent out here that I printed here is our current town soil removal code.
Yes.
And in it, you've put these amendments from the Carmel code.
Yes.
And I'm just curious how you said that these amendments would protect us from the way, like specifically the other site, what's happened down there. Can you spell out for me how that is, that protects us? You know, I'm going to give you a bunch of things, if that's okay, rather than a lot of, if you don't mind, if I can just sort of say a couple of things. And then maybe we can address them. You can't see through the blue, first of all. I got to tell you, next time, if you could do like yellow, it's easier to see because
Okay.
even printing this, it looks like it's redacted. My eyes are okay and I really can't see that. Okay, so before I really read what I wanted to say, I just have a question in regard to what you guys are talking about a bond to protect in order to make sure that the developer or whoever remediates after taking the land apart. And didn't we have a bond on the other site that we're holding up as an example of where we don't want to be again? Didn't we have a bond on that site, Nancy? And had that been put back? I thought there was a bond that the town was holding so that would hold them responsible for remediating the site, like putting the topsoil back and stuff.
I have no idea.
It's my understanding that there was a bond on it, and I think that's what Bill was specifying, that's the normal bonding for those type of projects. I think Bill's looking for something even bigger and stronger than that.
Yeah, I think Bill was looking for like a substantial bond.
And I think our council will come up with a unique name, and I'm sure the DEC. I'm not reinventing the wheel here. I'm sure it's been done, but we already got burnt on something, and it's going to be interesting as this project and any other project goes on, because the mining issue. Again, at the end got promised warehouses, got promised commercial tax base. And in what, 70% goes to the school district, which would help the school district. And it was never delivered. And I guess there was some issues, but again, it was before my time on this, but I remember being on that hill and learning some of the things. And I just want to make sure that we have some protection. And I think, we can look at this further, but I think a unique term in addition to this because of whatever major construction might be. And if it's a, developer has the plans to do whatever, he shouldn't have to be worried about this, but just want to be true blue to whatever the cause is in the project within the law, within our realm, but let's have that extra protection. I'm probably confusing everybody, but that's the way I am.
Okay, because we had in our current code that a developer couldn't come in and set up a mining operation. We've never had that that you're allowed to come in and just sell. Yet, under the guise of site preparation, this developer did just that, set up a trailer, trucks came and went. I still have sell sheets. I actually went in kind of interested in the pricing that they had, the aggregate and the rock and stuff. Happens to be something I buy quite a bit of. And it was an operation to sell rock. It was totally, and yes, it was excused or under the guise of site preparation. My question is, what in these blue paragraphs protect us from that happening again? I don't see it myself. Perhaps I'm not, maybe I'm missing something. I guess, I did write notes, and I'm always inclined to want to speak instead of read notes, but I also don't want to miss anything that my thoughts as I poured over this today. So if you don't mind, so I just want to say, it's clear to me that your intent is to put the residents concerns to rest, that by this amendment of our town code, that you'd be protecting the town from people coming in, just taking our materials and leaving like the kind of thing we have right now.
Yeah.
Again, I don't see that in these. Maybe you can show that.
Okay,
Sure.
so B in 63-4, no operation shall be commenced or carried on which is primarily for the purpose of sale or exchange of excavated topsoil, earth, sand, gravel, rock, or other substance from the ground. So I
But Chem Materials did just that.
So
Right, Chem Materials
B1
did just-
limits it now. Eileen, B1 limits it.
Okay, and how is that?
You're only allowed to take out twice the volume of your foundation or basement.
Okay, so we don't have a specific number on, we don't have a set limit. Like knowing the fact that anything, the town code, shouldn't we address the fact that when more than 1,000 tons or 750 cubic yards are removed, the DEC really takes over and preempts our ability to permit anyway. And if the DEC wants that permitted, it can permit it. We don't address that at all in here. And I just am, I'm of the belief that we really should, that would be our real protection. The residents have been through a lot in the last couple of years. There were things that we thought the town code must be protecting us from, and things like that didn't. And so we might be a little hyper sensitive about it, but the residents spent untold hours and expense fighting what seemed to be an inappropriate truck stop project across the street from the schools. And we were shocked by the prospect of the scope of the project, as well as the area of disturbance, removing rock over a 54-acre parcel down 180 foot deep. Chris, to your point, this does say twice the amount of foundation plus cellar. Those are not set limits. Those are not set numbers. We could be told that a foundation needs to be 8 feet, 10 feet for a foundation for a hotel or something. It could be a 14-foot foundation and an additional 11 feet over a 54 by 54.
Right, but Eileen, to your point, if we say whatever, if we come up with a number of tonnage or square footage, and say this is the number, and we don't have it in relation to the building, and if I want to build a little hut and it's like a 4x4 hut, now you're saying I can take out X amount of tonnage. So
Would
if
it make-
related to the size of a building makes more sense. Maybe we want to put an upper level for that, for the building, but what I'm saying is you don't want it to be so broad that if what we're building is small, we can still take a huge amount out. And if you're building a huge building, you're going to have to take more than if you're building like a Quonset hut. You know what I'm saying?
I do. And, and then additionally, I see in here that whatever the roads, I am just of the belief that some limits have to be set and some controls have to be set that keep it in the town's hands versus the DEC being able to, without us watchdogging, without the residents and the town board having a, watchdog everything, can't we set some limits so that we have control? It also refers to the roads and the construction and the grades and the, I'm sure you've seen developments in the area where the amount of materials that was taken was considerably more than just the footprint of the building itself. The foundation that needed to be taken, the a cellar, the cubic yards that would be required to remove for a cellar. But the roads going to it are a way that they really pull a lot of, that I've noticed that a lot of material is pulled out of a site, just excavating roads that are, and this leaves it up to them what all that designs as. And it feels to me that, I have to say, I was kind of coming here tonight thinking that you were setting a public hearing based on what we have here.
Yeah.
And I really must say
No.
that has changed I'm
Yeah.
really happy to hear that because I
We're
don't think,
just seeing this, Eileen. We haven't had time to review it yet
Yeah.
ourselves.
Yeah.
I've read it a couple times while we've been sitting here talking, and that's it.
Eileen,
I need time to look at it.
the
I'd
whole
like to
point,
make a
Eileen, the whole point was we kind of had, some ideas from the other, from the Carmel Code. And the idea was, let's incorporate them into our code to see what it looks like. This is by no means a final draft, but
Okay.
at least it gives people something to say, okay, now we have something that we can work on and we can tweak but at least we
yes.
have something.
Okay, that's great. And also let's, I would encourage us to, Henry Ford, I think, was the one who said that experience is the thing of supreme value in life. And our experience with the Kent Materials site, and not to just keep beating that to death, but I drive past it all the time. Our experience and Maureen, what you and I both went through there with that. We are now, right now, the Board of Education is meeting to figure out how the taxpayers can spend either 6 million or 11 million to build a school bus. I also have a reservation on that Zoom meeting, and as soon as I leave here, I'm going to go over there. Can we take that experience and get all the value out of it that we possibly can, because we were taken there,
Oh,
you
absolutely.
and we need to protect ourselves from that kind of thing being able to happen again.
Absolutely. And so, we'll hear from other people that want to speak, but I think the point of presenting this was give everybody a structure, and then however we need to change it, we can change it, but at least we have something now to work on.
All right.
And so
Can
I'm encouraging people to, to go over this. I'll put it back up on the website with better colors if everybody thinks this is hard to read. And I encourage people to write to us. Let us know, before the next meeting. Let us know what you think. Give us your suggestions. We'll talk to other people. We'll talk to planning. We'll talk to a
Right.
bunch of people. But at least now we have a jump point.
Okay.
Maureen-
Put us
Maureen,
as
question.
moratorium.
Do
I'll
we
get
still
off.
have the bond? We still holding the bond from Kent Materials?
I know.
Okay. So apparently it wasn't strong enough because, we're still holding that bond with the wetland violations and whatever else is going on. So that's what I'm trying to get at. he kind of, blew past us, and maybe we need some extra protection.
Yeah, I think your point is well taken, Bill.
And just my last question, Maureen, and then I'll bail out of here, is where does that put us with the moratorium? I mean, we've moved this from a mining issue, we're not really we don't have mining in the first place yet. We have a mining moratorium, and now we have a sort of soil removal code that refers to rock. Are we in any jeopardy come March 1st that moratorium status is changed or anything like that?
I defer to council.
No, we can always extend it again, especially since we are working on something.
Okay, great, thanks. Okay.
All right. Anyone else like to be heard on this? Just go to the reactions and raise your hand, and we'll unmute you and put your video on. Okay. Sue. Okay. Okay, Paul, can you do this? I'm having, for some reason. Paul Holman, that is, not Paul Denver.
Yeah, they're unmuted, Sue and Frank.
Okay.
We are?
Yep.
Yes, you are. Let me see if I can get your video going.
We don't have video.
Oh, then there you go.
Yeah. Good
Okay,
evening. In the Putnam Examiner dated December 22nd, 28th, the front page headline was Kent officials squash mining law, proposed simpler approach. And it's by Anna Young. In the second paragraph, it states that the Kent Town Board decided that instead of creating legislation centered on the prohibition of mining, to instead update the town code on soil removal with amendments regulating mining. I don't see any, is there anything in the new code that says that you're regulating mining?
well, it talks about excavating of topsoil, earth, sand, gravel. It talks about the amount of soil.
But it doesn't say anything about regulating mining.
But it does set limits on the excavation of soil and rocks, which is essentially mining. And we also are changing the zoning code because I don't believe that we have mining as a permitted use anywhere. And so we're
Correct.
specifying in our zoning code that anything that's not in there in our schedule of permitted uses, anything that's not specifically set forth is not allowed.
Okay, great, perfect. Let's see, what else should I have here? Oh, will you be going for another 6 months for the moratorium?
Well, I mean, we might seek to extend it because it expires in March, but
I know,
think-
March 1st, right?
Right, but I think we're very close. I think we can be very close. I wouldn't anticipate we'd go 6 months.
Does
I
it
mean,
cost anything to go for another 6 months?
No.
No, I mean,
So-
I'm saying we could extend it by 6 months. But I
Okay,
think we're getting close enough that it shouldn't be 6 months.
all right, well, better be on the safe side than miss the time limit, I
Oh,
think.
yeah. No, I mean, we can extend it by 6 months, but I don't want it to be 6 months. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, and also in the article I referred to, you mentioned about reading 20 pages, wading through 20 pages. Actually, I recently read that reading is good for the brain function. So bring on the words, bring on the pages. And also, why is Chris saying that he only got this information tonight? Why didn't he have a couple days to read through it?
Chris was unavailable.
Was out of town.
Okay.
Without internet.
Oh, all right. Well, okay, that explains it then. I think that's it.
Okay.
Carry on and keep up the work.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, anyone else? Okay. All right, I will put this back on the website in a different highlighted color so that it's easier for everybody to read. And I encourage members of the public to, email us and let us know your thoughts. Let us know how we can improve this. And we'll move forward. Okay. Thank you. So we're not taking any vote tonight. I'm just going to recirculate this and we'll put it on in February. If nobody else wants to be heard on this, the next item on the agenda is recreation. And so I invite Jared Kaczynski, our Director of Recreation, into, there you go. So do you want to do a little intro? And then we will invite Emerson.
Yeah, absolutely. So good evening, everyone. Thank you for having me. I got a bunch to talk about tonight, but the first is a little project that I'm certainly excited for. And it's an Eagle Scout project by Emerson Appleyard. And I actually first met Emerson basically when I first started Kent Rec. So that was about 10 years ago. And Emerson was, I don't know, a wee little lad. And his dad was coaching, and he basically stuck with our programs, since he's still involved. And now that he's, trying to become an Eagle Scout, he has wanted to give back to, the Kent Recreation and Parks Department. And, I'm super thrilled. And it's not really a surprise to me. Emerson is a fantastic kid, and he comes from an amazing family. His dad has coached with us for probably every year that I've been here, one of our best coaches. And it's not a surprise the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. Great family, great kid. And I'm super excited for Emerson to tell us a little bit about his project, which is going to take place on the hiking trails that we put in at Eustis Park. So Emerson, if you're ready, welcome.
Hi, can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Okay. Thank you for having me. My name is Emerson, and so I want to do an Eagle Scout project at Eustis Park. And my idea is to put 2 benches in a clearing where 2 trails meet. So it's where the red and the blue trail meet. Once you get to the parking lot, it's about a 7-minute walk in. You just go down to the end of the baseball net past the basketball court, and then you just make a right or make a left, and then you'll see a trail and you make another right. And then from there, it's about 5 minutes until you come to a clearing, and then there would be a big pine tree. And I just want to put benches on either side of that. And that's my idea. The benches will be made out of pressure treated wood. And that's my idea. I have pictures and stuff. I think Jared sent them to you guys.
Yes, yeah, I sent it out to everybody early today. So hopefully everyone
We
got
have
that.
Jared. I'm looking at him right now.
Okay, excellent. Just to piggyback on what Emerson was saying. So, basically we have 3 trails out at Eustis Park, and there's one spot where the blue and the red trail meet, as Emerson noted. That's basically the largest clearing, and it's kind of a general meeting space. Whenever we run hikes out there, we always stop there. There's a gigantic pine tree, which is actually kind of strange because there are very few pine trees in that woods. And it's really the perfect place to have some benches, make it a nice little meeting spot. So when Emerson approached me about the project, I was thrilled because Chris Keogh and I had been talking about ways to get some benches out there and whatnot. So the fact that Emerson wanted to do this was perfect and just in line with what we wanted to do out there as well. So Emerson, did you have anything else you wanted to add about the project? Or?
Yeah, well, we would have to we'd have to clean up a little bit over there. We'd have to remove a little bit of brush, I think, and kind of adjust the dirt a little bit, maybe, so that the benches were even but it's not really like anything major or anything like that. It's just little stuff, and then we put the benches in. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. It's relatively flat and relatively clear, so it should lend itself pretty well for them.
Would you be building the benches at the site, or would you build them beforehand and carry them to the site?
My idea is I think I'd probably get the material. I'd buy the materials, and then I'd carry them to the site, and I'd build them at the site. And the way it works with Eagle Scout project is I'll have volunteers helping me, so it shouldn't be like too tough for me or anything.
Excellent.
Excellent. Do you have volunteers lined up?
I'm not on that phase yet. I have to
Okay.
present in front of the Eagle board first, but I know people will volunteer. So
Emerson?
Have you? Oh, go ahead, Bill.
Emerson, any consideration for any type of plantings out there?
I mean, I could put like
Maybe something unique that concerning the area and the history. Again, I haven't been out there, but I'm just throwing that out.
Now, Bill, with respect to plantings, you meant like plants, right? Correct?
Plants, trees.
Okay. Yeah. So, sorry, Emerson, I'll let you speak in 1 sec. Just something to keep in mind if that's a route you do want to go, Emerson. There's basically a huge canopy of darkness in there. And anything that is a pine tree soil is very acidic. So it definitely is a unique, it will grow unique species of plants, not often ones that you would consider, oh, it's a shade plant, I can just put it in the ground. When you're around a pine tree, it definitely shifts the acidity of the soil. So just something to keep in mind. But Emerson, continue. Sorry about that.
No, it's fine. Yeah, like Jared said, I think the environment might be a little hostile, but I mean, maybe I could do some research, and if I could find anything, maybe I could plant it.
Good.
Emerson, it sounds like a good project. I hike back there with my kids a lot. It is very rocky back there. Are you prepared to deal with the rocks while you're installing your benches and the like? Because part of your design and where you put them is going to have to be guided by the nature of the rock formation. Because if you hike those trails, you don't get clear of a rock every 6 inches.
Yeah, so you're talking about like in terms of like moving the materials in to get ready to put them together, you mean?
Yeah, I mean, the materials, when they stay there, how are they going to be anchored into the ground?
I think we'll put them a little bit in, and they're gonna like a little bit in the ground, and like it's gonna be made out of wood for the most part, but it will have like some parts that are like metal, like screws and stuff. So I think those will weigh it down, and it will be like a little bit in the ground. So yeah.
Just to echo on what Paul was saying too, I think part of it, Emerson, if Paul, if I'm correct, is it will be tough with respect to where you place them and how you place them, given the fact that you can't go into the ground an inch without encountering rock or significant rock. So it's not impossible though, but it will take some finagling, it will take some pre-planning. Depending on the volunteers you have and whatever else, you may need a pry bar or something to get some of these rocks out, or you'll need to survey the area appropriately before you determine exactly how you want to orient the bench.
Okay.
Perfect.
So
Anyone else? Anyone have any comments? Anybody from the audience have any comments? Raise your hands. All right, so I don't see anybody else wanting to comment on this. I think it's a great project. Those trails are wonderful. And it would be nice to provide some place for people to just sit and relax and reflect. It's a beautiful spot. So we do have a resolution to approve this project, if somebody would like to make a resolution.
I make a resolution authorizing an Eagle Scout project at Eustis Park. Whereas at a meeting of the town board held on January 19th, 2021, as part of his Eagle Scout project, Emerson Appleyard proposed the placing of 2 benches on the hiking trails at Eustis Park. And whereas the town wishes to authorize Mr. Appleyard to place the benches at Eustis Park consistent with the proposal presented. Now therefore be it resolved, the town board of the town of Kent hereby authorizes Mr. Appleyard to place 2 benches at Eustis Park consistent with the proposal presented. I make that motion.
Second, roll call.
Councilwoman McGlasson,
Yes.
Councilman Ruthven,
Yes.
Councilman Eustace,
Yes,
Councilman Denbaum,
Yes.
Supervisor Fleming,
Yes, and thank you.
motion carried.
Perfect.
I'd just like to say real quick before Emerson, goes off video or whatnot. I think it's fantastic. This is now in the past half year, the second Eagle Scout project that has come through recreation. And I think it's awesome that we have, it seems like a number of children who are really interested in sticking with our programs. Emerson volunteers with us, and a lot of his classmates and whatnot have been volunteering with us, staying involved, and now to give back to us in this fashion, it's fantastic. And I think it says a lot about our community and the great folks we have in Emerson. I'm super excited to work with you on this, as well as work with James, who I know you know, James Tibbetts, work with him on his project as well. So you guys rock, and thank you so much. We really appreciate it.
Thank
Yes.
you very much for your time and consideration.
No, and thank you. It's really great that you live here and want to do something for your community. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, Emerson, you can, there you go. He's gone, so. All right, next order of business on rec. Can I move on, or?
Yes, please.
Okay, sweet. Okay, so the next we will discuss is the proposal for online registration and recreation management software that we got from Civic Plus. So Rich Harris, our IT guy, is with us. So he and I will both be speaking on it. I'll start, and then I will kind of turn it over to him, if everyone's okay with that.
Yeah.
So basically, online registration and rec management software it's been around for a while. We have not had it. We've been certainly very traditional, but in discussions with Maureen and Jamie, they really gave me the push to start moving in the 21st century direction. And so I teamed up with Rich, and the first thing we did was contact Civic Plus, because they run our current website and they offer recreation management solutions. And so Rich and I did a decent amount of homework, decent amount of research, sat through demos, watched videos, asked a bunch of questions. And after, weeks of discussion, we felt that what Civic Rec had to offer was great. And they happen to be on state contract as well, so we can go right off of that. So I just wanted to talk about the advantages of what they offer. And then I'll turn it over to Rich so he can talk about the tech aspect, because I can't lie, I don't know a lot about that. But so basically, online registration is exactly how it sounds. It is giving our residents the opportunity to sign up for programs, events, etc., remotely. So they don't have to come into the office, nor do they have to print out a form and send it in. They can go onto our website, they can click on the program, there'll be a button that says register now. They can register and pay just as most of us do when it comes to, buying tickets for a concert or, scheduling a Paramount appointment. And what's great about Civic Rec is that it is seamless with Civic Plus. So we have our website, and when you click register now, you're staying on our website. You're not going to a third-party software. This is all one, it's all one unit, which creates a very seamless, a very professional looking, and a very easy to use system. Along with the online registration, it provides recreation management software, which would be huge. As you guys know, our programs are only continuing to grow. Obviously, this year was, the outlier, but our programs are continuing to grow. We have over 400 kids in basketball, in soccer, baseball, and softball. We're up to almost 500. And so having modern tech software that allows us to create teams, allowed us to manage databases, run financial reports, all that's connected to the online registration software is hugely advantageous. It will not only, once again, the sign up part will not only make it easier for our residents, but the management part will make it easier on our staff, which will allow us to work more efficiently, to achieve more, to continue to improve the quality of our programs, but then also will allow us to run more programs at once. Oftentimes during baseball season, Maureen, you know this because we talk about it a lot, it is incredible the amount of work it requires all day, every day, all 3 staff members working on it. But by having this, it will allow us to increase our, like I said, our efficiency, and thus we'll be able to dedicate more time to adding new programs and to continuing to improve those, what I call peripheral programs that may not be our major sports, but still deserve the attention they sometimes don't get. Other advantages of this software is it allows us to send things like text message blasts, something we've never been able to do because we haven't had the programs, but we send out a lot of emails about our programs. But let's say you're not checking email, you don't get email notifications on your phone. Hey, now you're going to get a text message from Kent Recreation, just like you get them from your pharmacy saying a prescription's ready. That's like, hey guys, just let you know, games are canceled tonight. Field is underwater. So it's once again another modern feature, another modern thing that we can bring to the programs. And one other thing I did want to add is that with Civic Plus, you can also, they also have a system that we can put in the office for local signups where credit cards can be processed, and every registration that is done there immediately connects back to the Civic Rec software. So whether it's done at your house or you come in and sign up, it will all seamlessly go back to this one database, which once again is huge. Before I go on, did anybody have any questions about that part? I might as well take those
No,
questions.
I have to say, I think that being able to sign up online, I know sometimes people are like running in, trying to get their kids signed up at the last minute. I know when my daughter was in rec, I was always, and Bill can attest to this, Bill and Bernadette, I was always there at the last minute, sometimes after the last minute. But I think having the ability to, it's 7 o'clock at night and tomorrow's the deadline, and I don't know if I can make it in. Having the ability to sign up online, I think really even grow the programs in that, I don't know how many parents are affected by, they're working while we're open and they can't get in. And the text blasts, I think, are great because we've had that issue. And again, I know as a parent, and I know since, just speaking to parents, that sometimes, you're sitting there and it's a half an hour until you have to leave for the game and waiting for a call, or you're checking your email. Getting a text would be really wonderful.
Absolutely.
So efficient. So.
Absolutely.
Question.
Yes, Bill.
This company you're dealing with, did you check in any other companies that provide this?
Yeah, I had previously checked with MyRec. That was the only other one that I had worked with, and I sat through a demo. I basically went through the same thing, and I liked MyRec. I certainly can't say they seem to have a good product and whatever else. But one of the advantages, once again, that Rich and I discussed was the fact that this, like I said, would seamlessly work with our current registration. Our current website provider, which is Civic Plus. So it's literally the same company, and it all melds together very well, which is important for one, making it user friendly, easy to use, easy to manage. But then also, as Rich said, if there are problems, when Rich and I discussed this, if there are problems, who is it? Is it Civic Plus who hosts our website? Is it this third-party company that hosts our rec software? Is it on our end? And it becomes this finger-pointing thing. And instead of going to one location and just saying, hey, we need this fixed, instead we are, running around in circles trying to figure out who's supposed to be responsible for what.
Okay,
And Rich,
have you checked with some of the civic group that deals with other municipalities? And if
yes. Yeah,
okay,
I checked. We called both Danbury and I believe it was Somers, and we had lengthy conversations with them. and they all had glowing reviews. They said it's totally revolutionized what they do, and they couldn't speak more positively about it.
Okay, and then my last question, who's going to monitor the registration process on a daily basis or whenever? Who, is it going to be the rec director, the senior rec leader, or the part-time person? Just curious, you say you're going to have extra time, so I just hope it's not the rec director, but you need a clerk or a secretary if you're going to handle this stuff online. My opinion only. I know I'm a minority, but I'm just curious. What is your plan? Who will be overseeing this registration and signups and making sure that those texts go out or whatever? I'm sure you have a plan. I'm just interested to hear what you got.
Well, the plan ultimately would be that Nikki, who is our recreation leader, would take on the majority of that role. However, we certainly, we have, obviously with the shifting schedules, who's in the office, who's not in the office, it really becomes a, kind of so not to backtrack, but when we plan for the week, it's okay. John, who's our part-time rec assistant, okay, John's going to be working at the ball fields this night, this night, and this night. Nikki's going to be doing X, Y, and Z. Jared's going to be doing X, Y, and Z. And that may change based on availability, how many games we have, etc. So it certainly is always a team effort, and it will remain that way. But the ultimate goal is to have Nikki take on the larger role with respect to managing, our sports programs, etc. Especially with respect to communication.
Okay, we'll
right.
try it. If she's a rec leader, but we'll try it and let's see how it comes out. I just hope you don't get overwhelmed, but it's positive. I support it, and I just wanted to make sure you did your homework. It seems like you did, but I just hope that you have enough staff and time to make sure this is a big success, and I'm sure it will be because we'll put Harris to work. Right, Rich?
Well,
That's it.
Since you mentioned Rich, I think, I'd like to turn it over to Rich for a little, just so he could talk about some of the tech aspects and the advantages from that
All right, can I
angle.
ask a few questions first, Jared?
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, Chris.
So I was in before Christmas to Lana. I don't want to throw her under the bus, but I was purchasing something from the county clerk for a pretty substantial amount of money. And I was going to be charged a very substantial fee for using my credit card at the county clerk's office. How does that play into registering online with rec? Is there a use fee for registering and using a credit card?
I'm sorry, it cut out for a second there. So was your fee, was it the credit card fee itself, or was there a third fee?
Third party fee, I believe. Lana, can you?
Right. According to town law, the town is not authorized to pick up the merchant account fee. So we have to impose that 3% credit card fee onto the consumer. And I think you're going to be doing the same thing.
Yes. Yeah.
It just so happens that you were buying, usually the fee is $1.75 because the purchases are small. You happen to have a very large purchase that day.
Yeah. No, it was substantial enough for me to say, no, I'm going to the bank to get cash.
Yeah, you ain't got cash.
Yeah.
I don't blame him. It was 3% is substantial. And I think that's why people aren't using it like to pay their taxes. 3% is large.
Yeah.
But by law, we are not authorized to pick up the merchant fee account.
Got
So,
All right. So does this company make any percentage off of registration fees?
So we pay, I'll move on to that next part then. So basically, we pay per year for the software, for the databases, etc. So I'm not sure if you were able to look at the whole proposal that they sent, Chris, but basically it would be a $5,500 year one
flat rate.
Yes, yeah, implementation. That would cover implementation as well as our first year fee. And from there on out, it would be $3,000 a year, which covers soup to nuts, everything. There was one thing in the proposal I saw that there is each year after your second year, so beginning in your third year, there is up to a 5% increase for technological advances, etc. in that $3,000 fee. But otherwise, as far as I can tell in reading it, everything seems to be covered in the flat.
All right, so maybe this is a question for Rich. When you purchase with your credit card or debit card, are you purchasing from the town account or from the third party? My question for that is, how easy is it going to be if Jared has to cancel the whole basketball season, for example, and refund everybody their money, or somebody gets sick and just I want to know how easy the refund process would be if you're doing everything online.
My understanding of the refund process is it's built into the refund processor when you sign up. So if Jared issues a refund, their credit card would be refunded, and I would think that's the way the refund processor works, but there is a refund process built into the software.
And the materials say that CP Merchant will collect and disperse all credit card monies. Merchant account fees and percentage plus transaction fee, it's 3% plus 30 cents apply, and they're separate from the annual services. So it seems that they handle all that. That doesn't come on us.
Right.
As long as Jared has an easy access to trigger a refund and print his reports and everything from that company.
Yeah, it also would put a record in the database that the transaction was paid, it's pending, or whatever the case may be, so that when Jared pulls his reports for the finance department, he balances out with what he's got for transactions and cash and things like that.
Right. Well, I'm definitely in support of new technology, and I, much like Maureen, have been there at the 11th hour trying to catch somebody in the rec office to get my registrations in with check in hand. This would certainly have made things a lot easier.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think people are going to take advantage of it, especially given the times that we're in, not only just normal times. I think the SMS messaging is going to be huge.
Yeah.
He's got to cancel something 10 minutes before. No practices tonight because it's raining, and nobody gets the email, and this should resolve a lot of that. I think the experience with the taxpayer would be pretty huge with this.
Yeah, and I think that since the fees aren't, I don't pay my taxes online because I'm not paying that percentage of my taxes. But if a registration fee is $75 and you're paying 3% and it's saving you a trip to town hall, I think most people would be happy to do that.
Yeah, the feedback that I have gotten in discussing it with residents, et cetera, has only been immensely positive. Literally 100%. 100% of people I spoke to said they would take advantage of it. So, I think it's win-win all around.
And the recreation departments that we talked to, Somers and Danbury, it was huge for them. It was just night and day. The other thing I'd want to talk about is the reporting aspect that can be utilized inside of this software far outdoes the reporting that he can do now. He can pull ad hoc reporting. He can pull general ledger reporting. They're going to import all of our GL codes to the different programs. So the reporting aspect that he can do as far as teams, coaches, who's on, whatever, is very quick and very efficient.
Yeah, that was something, Rich, just to piggyback on that I was really looking forward to. Right now, we use Microsoft Access, which is fine. But, one, it's not recreation related. It's just a general Microsoft program. But two, running reports, as Rich knows, has certainly, been problematic at times. And once again, it just comes back to the increase in efficiency that we can achieve by, implementing this new software. We would spend hours sometimes trying to figure out why access wouldn't work a certain way and trying to create these proper reports. But with this new software, it really, from what we could tell, it just seems like a few click of buttons, very user friendly for administrators as well.
Yep.
So,
Any other board member?
I'm just excited that we're finally entering the 21st century.
Yeah.
I got one more technical question. Is this just for recreational program registration, or is it could be for field assignment and rentals and stuff like that? Is there other parts of it that could be used other than just signing up for your kids to play sports or an
Well,
event?
I think as time goes on, I think there's other modules within this software that Jared could utilize, you know, as far as field rentals or scheduling or things of that nature. You can sell tickets to a one-time event. I mean, there's a lot in this software that, you know, can be utilized, whether it be now, down the road. I don't know what Jared's plans are, but
Well, Chris, I'm glad you asked that question because I actually had a note about this, but I forgot to speak on it. So facilities management software is included in this, which is great. So if we're, you know, we obviously rent an absurd number of ball fields throughout the spring, summer, and fall. So that can all be, you know, like Rich said, those are modules that we can, you know, put into place. So that way, if I am an eligible renter and I want to see if the field is available on a Friday night at 8 o'clock, I could go on and see, oh, okay, Kent Rec has that marked as open. I'm going to put in for a rental that date.
Good.
Instead of having to send an email, oh, it's the weekend. Jared's out of the office for 2 days. Oh, he took Monday off. So, but now someone's not available to confirm it. It's all, we can pre-program the facilities management page to everything that we want to keep available or not want to be available. So it's a seamless, you know, once again, a few click of buttons for our coaches and other renters.
Good. I'll tell you, when I saw this on the agenda, I was very, very nervous, Jared. I looked into something similar like this 15 years ago, and it was $20,000 just to start it. And I said,
Wow.
oh my God, so that was
Wow.
a very good price.
Times have changed, I guess, because there's so much competition, you know, but I'm glad it's not $20,000 either. Did anybody else have any questions or?
Maybe the public.
Does any member of the public want to be heard on this, or are all board members good to go? All right, nobody is raising their hand, so do we want to move on this tonight?
I personally would request that you do, only because it is about a 4-month rollout, which includes training as well. So, you know, Rich and I were discussing this. We'd like to have this up and running for soccer, fall soccer, which means registration would begin late June, early July. So if we are able to approve this tonight, we'd be able to get the ball rolling and ideally should be finished and trained right as we enter into soccer registration season.
yeah, they're saying it's an 18 to 22 week implementation plan.
I make a resolution accepting a quote for online registration software for the Recreation and Parks Department. Whereas the Town of Kent Town Board has received a request from the Director of the Recreation and Parks Department for the purchase of online registration software from Civic Plus at a cost not to exceed $5,500 in the first year, plus an annual service fee of $3,000 commencing in the second year. And whereas the town board has been provided with a proposal from Civic Plus pursuant to a contract with the state of New York, and whereas section 103.16 of the general municipal law exempts from competitive bidding purchase contracts for apparatus, materials, equipment, and supplies through the use of contracts led by the United States or any agency thereof, any state or any other political subdivision or district. And whereas in accordance with the town's procurement policy and the general municipal law, the town board wishes to authorize the Recreation and Parks Department to purchase the online registration software set from Civic Plus consistent with the above referenced proposal. Now therefore be it resolved, the town board of the town of Kent hereby authorizes and approves the purchase of the online registration software from Civic Plus at a cost not to exceed $5,500 in the first year, plus an annual service fee of $3,000 commencing in the second year. And be it further resolved, the town board of the town of Kent hereby authorizes the supervisor to execute any and all documents necessary to give effect to this resolution. I make that motion.
Second,
Okay.
roll call, please.
Councilman Denbaum,
Yes.
Councilman Hustis,
Yes,
Councilwoman McGlasson,
Absolutely.
Councilman Ruthven,
Yes.
Supervisor Fleming,
Yes,
motion carried.
thank you. Thank you, everybody, for your work on this.
Yeah, thank you. Rich, thank you so much. I couldn't have done it without Rich. He helped me digest a lot of the things that made no sense to me. So I really appreciate it, Rich.
Thank
You're welcome, guys. Thanks for having me.
Have a great night.
You too.
All right, it's all you tonight, Garrett, so go ahead.
All right, number 3 is the acceptance of a $1,000 grant from the Target Corporation, that being the retail chain. We were able to procure this by working with our grant writing firm. I don't know their name, but I did want to give a shout out to Caleb, who works with them. He, he helped us put this all together, and we were the recipient of $1,000, which is earmarked specifically for improvements to our youth soccer program. So I'd like to thank Target as well for those Target employees who are.
And what are we going to do with this money?
The anticipated use of the money will be to improve our on-field equipment, which right now we're looking into new soccer goals, as well as the other equipment, corner flags, etc., and or general team equipment that we hand out, which is generally related to goalie gloves, soccer balls, etc.
Well, I'm always happy to accept free money.
Me too. So did anyone have any questions about this? Or? Nope.
I don't see any questions from the public either. Nobody is raising their hand. If anybody in attendance wants to talk about this, I think this is pretty much a no-brainer.
Want me to make a resolution?
Sure,
Good.
nobody else is speaking up.
I'll
Go
do
ahead.
this one, Jamie. It's
I
a
make a
short one.
resolution to accept a Target grant, whereas by email dated January 6, 2021, the Director of the Town of Kent Recreation and Parks Department notified the town board that the Recreation and Parks Department will receive a grant of $1,000 from the Target Corporation. And whereas the town board desires to accept the grant and to approve and ratify any and all prior action taken by town officials in connection therewith. Now therefore be it resolved, the town board of the town of Kent hereby accepts the grant in the amount of $1,000. And be it further resolved, the town board of the town of Kent hereby approves and ratifies all acts heretofore taken by the town board, town supervisor, and any and all other town officials in connection with the subject grant. I make that motion.
Second, roll call, please.
Councilman Denbaum,
Yes.
Councilwoman McGlasson,
Yes.
Councilman Eustace,
Yes,
Councilman Ruthven,
Yes.
Supervisor Fleming,
Yes,
motion carried.
thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Number 4 on the rec slate for tonight is the engineering of paving at Ryan's Park. And so I will begin by just briefly discussing, the project. So basically, I met with you guys in either November or December of 2020. And basically it was to say that the parking lots at Ryan's Park, all of them, the roadways, they all need to be replaced within the next few years. Most importantly, the lower lot, which sees the most traffic and is in the worst condition. The result of that discussion was the encouragement that I go and speak with some engineers, get some quotes regarding the best way to proceed with paving the parking lot, if drainage needed to be improved, so on and so forth. So I contacted 4 engineering firms. The only one that chose to submit a quote was Insight Engineering. They came down to the park and we literally walked every single area of it. And basically what we decided was that there more or less needed to be a 3-part plan that was put together. And sorry, I'm just pulling up some notes here. So basically the plan would be divided into 3 parts. Part 1 would be the repaving of all surfaces at the park. The issue we had with that, normally we could just bring in a paving company and just say, hey, we need this repaved. But the problem is that the blacktop and the asphalt was failing to such a degree that the best course on how to repave wasn't clear. And then furthermore, and it was Chris who had brought this to my attention, because it had degraded to such an extent, it wasn't clear on whether drainage was working properly, if it, flow needed to be directed differently. So Insight would basically survey all the lots. They'd take cores of the lots as well to determine how much asphalt was really left, what the subsurface was, et cetera, and then let us know the best way to proceed with paving, whether reclamation could be done, so on and so forth. So that was part one. Part two was the redesign of the entrance. Everybody unanimously agreed that the entrance to Ryan's Park is confusing, to the point that it makes traffic flow very poor. It's at certain times a car accident waiting to happen. And so basically I brought that up with Insight, and they would, as a part of their plan, redesign that entrance, which would more or less involve closing one of the entrances, widening the other entrance to create a better traffic flow. So that was part two of their plan. And then part three would be scoping out really the only piece of property that we own left that would be suitable for parking, and coming up with a plan to add, I shouldn't say add an additional lot, but extend the Field 3 parking lot, which is the lot that abuts the basketball court and the tennis court. So I know basically all of you can attest to this, but most specifically Jamie and Paul, at our events, parking becomes full very quickly, but even during our sports programs, which like I said, Jamie and Paul can attest to, we run out of parking quickly. Even when we stagger games, stagger our schedule, our programs are growing to the point that we need more spaces. So there's a clear area next to the current Field 3 parking lot, which can basically, in the eyes of Insight, can be paved and basically double the size of the current Field 3 lot. And so in their proposal, they would do a survey of that site and basically give us a conceptual plan of what a third parking lot would look like, how much we could expect it to, an extra parking lot would look like, how much we could expect it to cost, etc.
What is double the size? What's the current size?
I don't actually have the numbers for the current size, but it is roughly, I believe, 20 spots currently,
So
perhaps a
40.
little. Yeah.
Okay.
So, I'm proud to say that we're growing all of our programs and whatnot, but, especially now, you have, carpooling isn't what it was, et cetera. The parking lot just seems to fill up very quick. It's problematic in its own right. So basically, when Insight has done engineering for us in the past, they generally submit a soup to nuts engineering proposal. At least that's what they did with our retaining walls, et cetera. And the conceptual phase is included in that engineering. But speaking with John Watson, he felt that due to the nature of this project, the fact that it may not be done all at once, it could be done in several phases over several years, he felt that starting with just the conceptual phase was the best way to go. And then from there, whatever needs additional engineering could be done, the conceptual phase having already been done, therefore not needing to be done again, and not that cost is a cost. So it's been done, it's not coming back again. Conceptual phase, that is. So I thought in speaking with him that his ideas certainly made sense, and thus I wanted to bring it to the board for tonight.
Question.
Yes.
In changing the entranceway, just keep an eye on what the it was not the DEP, the other group, Maureen's group, that did the retention pond.
East of Hudson.
When you build that, what was that, Chris?
East of Hudson, EOH.
East of the Hudson, that's it. I still think something's wrong because in the heavy rains and stuff, I'm not seeing water really going into that. But if you're going to change the top, which that's supposed to be flowing into, because there's pipes underground, make sure keep an eye on that. I support that entranceway being changed. That is dangerous. We've had many situations there. We used to have a gate there. They rammed the gate and destroyed it.
No, that I did not know. Unfortunate. But no, that would be something, when it came to doing the retaining wall, which we're making good progress on, they worked with, the appropriate, I'm not good with this, DEC, DEP, because of the fact that the retaining wall abuts the water. So, I feel confident that Insight, has the appropriate connections and obviously has done this enough that, you know, they'll be on top of that. Any other questions?
I'm good.
Where's the cost coming from?
What was that, Bill?
Where's the cost of this coming from? This is extra, by the engineering services, right?
Yes, yeah. So in speaking with Yulia, this would qualify as a general fund, or I know funds have been set aside by the board. I don't know if something like this is what you guys had envisioned those funds being spent on, but that also exists as well.
I would be okay with it coming out of the general fund. It's a project that should be done. The funds we set aside, I thought specifically were for Eustis Park.
Got it. Okay, yeah, I don't actually have that in front of me. Okay.
There is some paving for Ryan's in that, but not, I think if you're gonna pave the whole thing and engineering, it's gonna be a lot more.
Yes, yeah, now that you say that, Bill, that's right. There was an amount that had been set aside, but it wouldn't be nearly.
And I don't know if things changed. I don't know if the town board decided to go all out or it's in phases. But there's no question the entranceway needs help. There's no question you need parking. You actually need another park, but that's another story. And be careful where you go. You know, there's certain pieces that we don't own. And I mentioned something to you the other day about the fitness trail.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I think everybody agrees that parking lot and entranceway really need to be looked at and redone. So do we want to go ahead and authorize this evening?
And Maureen, I would ask that our highway superintendent just be notified in case he has any ideas, Jared and him talk. Because
Well, he's on the meeting tonight.
Yeah, hopefully Rich is still on the meeting, but
Yes.
it's very important that our highway superintendent, because that is a town road that the entranceway comes in, and to get his expertise too in this to help Jared out. Maybe we can squeeze a little more money out of, Rich, and his highway bonds. Did he hear that?
You hear me?
Hey!
Yeah.
Hi, Rich.
Hello.
Okay.
You might want to use the public inter-county paving won the bid this year. So you might want to use them, to get a price.
Okay, yeah, well, once we obviously get the conceptual phase, the conceptual plan back from Insight, that would be the next step. Certain things we'll be able to go out to bid on immediately. Like I said, they're going to take some cores and they're going to say, okay, the lower lot, that needs to be ripped up and repaved, or that can be reclaimed and repaved. So once we get that conceptual plan back, I'll then be obviously bringing that to you guys again to say, okay, here's exactly what it's going to look like for each lot. What do we want to proceed with next? And then ideally go out to bid for, at least the lower lot.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
You ready for this one?
Yep.
All right. I'd like to make a motion to pass a resolution authorizing Edward Ryan Memorial Park parking lot rehabilitation and expansion engineering proposal. Whereas by email dated January 8th, 2021, the Director of Recreation and Parks forwarded a proposal from Insight Engineering to review, access, and create a conceptual plan for the parking lot rehabilitation and expansion of Edward Ryan Memorial Park. And whereas, according to said director, he requested quotes from 3 other companies to provide such services and received no proposals in response. Now therefore it be resolved that the town board hereby authorizes the Recreation and Parks Department to obtain the engineering services of Insight Engineering for a cost not to exceed $6,300, consistent with the proposal, and be it further resolved, the town supervisor is hereby authorized to execute any document necessary to give effect to this resolution in forms acceptable to the town supervisor and town attorney. I make this motion.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilman Denbaum,
Yes.
Councilman Eustace,
Yes.
Councilwoman McGlasson,
Yes.
Councilman Ruthven,
Yes.
Supervisor Fleming,
Yes.
motion carried.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. and
All
the
right.
Your
The-
last item.
The last item, the final item for me for tonight, is the hiring of a new park maintenance worker. So Maureen, myself, and Chris Kehoe, who is our parks crew chief, we met. We received 13 applications, and we decided to interview 6 of them. However, one of them dropped out in the days leading up to the interview. He said he was no longer interested in the position. So we interviewed 5 candidates, and after careful consideration, much discussion, we really chewed on this for a while. We decided that we would like to go and hire Andrew Ryan. He goes by Drew Ryan. Drew interviewed very well, but what really impressed us the most is he has an incredible amount of experience in landscaping, property maintenance, running groups, leading teams, etc. And he got glowing reviews when I checked his references. So, Chris Kehoe felt particularly strong that he would be a great addition to his team, and thus I'd like to recommend him for hire. Anybody have any questions?
Good with this one.
Okay, excellent.
Let me
Can I
do
ask
it.
one question? Is
Yes,
it Drew Ryan from Carmel?
Is it Drew Ryan from Carmel?
Great guy, really good guy. I know him, yeah.
You know him? Oh, okay.
Yeah, real good guy.
Excellent. Excellent.
Want to steal him now?
The way it's set up, I could.
Oh, wow. Wow. Already day one.
Number 1 pick, he can go over to my team.
Let him at least come in and start with us at Park. Okay?
Ready?
I am ready.
I'd like to make a resolution. I make a motion to pass a resolution to hire park maintenance worker for Recreation and Parks Department. Whereas the town of Kent is seeking to fill a vacant position for a park maintenance worker for the Recreation and Parks Department, and whereas Jared, I never say your name right, Kozensky.
Perfect.
Is that it? All right.
Yeah.
Director of Recreation and Parks Department has recommended the hiring of Andrew Ryan at a rate of $27.43, less $1 for his first year per the union contract to fill the position. And whereas the town board wishes to accept the nomination of Mr. Kozensky and hire Andrew Ryan, now therefore resolved the town board of the town of Kent hereby authorizes the hiring of Andrew Ryan as park maintenance worker for the Recreation and Parks Department as of January 25th, 2021, at an hourly rate of $27.43, less $1 for his first year per the union contract. I make this motion.
Just a clarification, it's $1 per hour, not just $1.
It says $1.
No, I know.
Okay, I'll change that.
So it's 2643.
Right. All right, we had a second.
Second.
Let's have roll call, please.
Councilman Hustis,
Yes.
Councilman Denbow,
Yes.
Councilwoman McGlasson,
Yes.
Councilman Ruthven,
Yes.
Supervisor Fleming,
Yes,
motion carried.
thank you.
Excellent.
Okay, thank you, Jared.
Thank you, everyone, for having me. Have a wonderful night.
We went easy on you tonight, Jared.
This is great. This is an awesome night. I love it. So thank you, guys. I'm really looking forward to some good stuff for Rec and Parks. So, I'll be talking with you guys soon.
All right, great, thank you.
Bye.
All right, the next item on the agenda, we have a couple of highway items. So I invite our Highway Superintendent, Rich Othmer, to talk about your items.
Good evening. Just two things. The pickup and the small dump truck. I put on my my fleet replacement program back in August. I sent you the my proposals for 2021. I have plans on junking 2 pickups and 1 dump truck this year, and these 2 would replace them, and that would complete my Lake Carmel mini fleet. And then the other items are the acceptance of the bid for the road sand and the street sweeping. And we only received one bid on each of them. So,
How come, Rich, only one bid? How do you,
well, our specs for the sand says it has to be water washed, and Thale Industries over in, in Phillipstown, they air dry it, and it doesn't get all the fines out, and they clog our sanders. And at Harlem Valley, they double wash their sand, and it just goes through our sanders a lot more efficiently on the roads. And we've chosen them for 3 or 4 years in a row now. So I think Thale has given up, and Red Wing has given up bidding on our stuff. We did a sieve test, and we did a field test. We have it all documented, and I think they're like 20 cents more a yard. But I'm using the best value resolution for us, and we just we were in the middle of a storm. We're sitting there with chisels and stuff trying to get the frozen sand jammed in the sander. So it just it's come down to that.
okay,
And street sweeping, there was an outfit from Hyde Park that won the bid 2 years ago, but they can't really give us the service we need. They're too far away, and they don't have enough sanders. And the Double D or whatever the hell they are, they're all over the Hudson Valley, and they can give us 2 sanders, and we can get in there real quick. And with our two sweepers that we have, we can get the roads done really quick in 2 or 3 weeks at the most.
And we didn't even get bids the first time we put this out. Didn't we put the whole list out? We had to rebid these 2 items.
Yeah, because for some reason, if you were the previous administration would put the bids out in September and August, and I switched everything runs in the calendar year from January 1st to December 31st, because our blacktop bids were expiring in September, and we're doing a lot of blacktop in September, and it was crazy to rebid them, when we're trying to button up for the year. So, and a couple of the companies missed out. They weren't used to Kent bidding in December. And I know with the sweeping company, the one guy, Kevin Fitzgerald, he left the company, and the new person that took over didn't know any better to bid. They didn't know at that point.
okay.
And if the winter goes on the way it is, we're not going to have a real lot to sweep up. So we'll see.
What's going on with that, Rich?
February's coming. February's always a lot of snow.
All right.
We're not complaining.
Well, it fills the rivers, it fills the reservoirs, the wells. Snow is good. So
Gets the kids outside.
yeah, get them off their butts.
They don't go outside unless it's snowing. So.
I mean, that's it. So the approval for these 2 trucks, and I'm junking 3 trucks, and then the bids, and we're going good down there. Things are working out well, and we have big plans for March with fixing some of these old bridges, and we're moving along.
Rich, can I just do we have a road plan or a general list? I know we're not giving it out to the public until everything is officially squared away. We don't want to make promises we can't keep. We had that conversation like a couple of years ago. You were saying, hey, I was telling residents X, Y, and Z and things, but do we have a plan that we're setting up for this year?
Yes, I handed that out.
Yeah.
You have 3 different binders. You have a blue one, a red one, and a black one. And I forget, it's either the blue or the red. Has my proposed 2-year plan on roads, and the first two major roads I want to hit hopefully in May is Richardsville Road and Pudding Street, and then we want to finish up Residue Road, Gypsy Trail Road, Bowen Road, and then I've been going into these developments little by little. Like we've been hitting Kentview Estates. I want to get over on Seven Hills Lake Estates. We hit the Romanovs off of Dykeman's. Last year we got one of the major ones in Dykeman. So we're getting a lot of road work done. The biggest thing with these roads in Western Kent is we're jackhammering ledge out first, and we're taking trees down. And I have NICEAG now on Pudding Street and on Richardsville Road. They're moving about a dozen telephone poles back 2 or 3 feet. If you notice, like Miller Hill and Dean Road and Hortontown, we widened those roads by about 3 to 4 feet in the last 2 years. So I just don't want to pave them because they've never been improved since they were built originally. So, widening is a big part of our job, and we're getting a lot of trees down. So, but Paul, it is in the packet, but the big roads, like I said, Gypsy Trail, Bowen Road, Residue Road, Pudding, Richardsville. Last year we hit Dixon, we got Miller Hill, we got Dean Road. We got a lot of stuff done last year.
No, yeah, and then we hit little pockets in Lake Carmel, right? I mean, because every road.
Yeah, Lake Carmel. Like I was in the section of Lake Carmel there. Union Road, and I had all intentions of trying to get that blacktop this year. But once you get in there, you're into a hornet's nest of drainage, and there's just so many rotted metal pipes that we spent 5 weeks there just taking metal pipes out and replacing them with plastic. And then before you know it, it's the end of November, and we couldn't blacktop. But that's one of my key parts in Lake Carmel is the Lottie Road, Union Road, that whole section in there. And it's a project in Lake Carmel. And once we repipe the roads, we can widen them a little bit more because now you don't have these big ditches. But it's a hornet's nest in there. For the tiny roads, it's a lot of work to get it done correctly. But we're making good progress in there.
Thanks, Rich.
Anybody have any questions for Rich? Any member of the public have any questions? Okay, I don't see any hands up. Okay, want to move ahead with the resolution? Are we ready to do that tonight, or?
I'll do the truck one since I got it up on my computer. I'll make a motion to pass a resolution authorizing the purchase of a pickup truck and dump truck. Whereas the town board of the town of Kent has received a request from the town highway superintendent to purchase a 2020 3500 Dodge. Well, I got a question right away, Rich. Are you buying an old 2020, a leftover, or do you got is it going to be a 2021 by the time we get to this?
This will be a 2020 because it takes so long to get them, to go through the whole process. It should be, if that's what Nick put down, it's a 2020.
Okay. A 2020 3500 Dodge plow pickup, the pickup truck, and a 2020 5500 Dodge plow cinder dump truck, the dump truck. And whereas the town board has determined there is a need to purchase the pickup truck and the dump truck, and whereas the town board has been provided with a proposal for the pickup truck from Robert Green Truck Division in the amount of $46,215.18 pursuant to Onondaga County Contract ONGOV-106-19 and a proposal for the dump truck from Robert Green Truck Division in the amount of $82,063.20 pursuant to Onondaga County Contract number ONGOV-106-19. Onondaga is a county within the state of New York, and whereas section 103 subsection 16 of the general municipal law exempts from competitive bidding purchase contracts for apparatus, materials, equipment, and supplies through the use of contracts let by the United States or any agency thereof, any state or any other political subdivision or district. And let's scroll down here. Whereas in accordance with the town's procurement policy and the general municipal law, the town board wishes to authorize the highway department to purchase the pickup truck and dump truck consistent with the above reference proposals. Now therefore be it resolved that the town board of the town of Kent hereby authorizes and approves the following purchases from Robert Green Truck Division pursuant to Onondaga County Contract number ONGOV-106-19 2020 3500 Dodge Plow pickup for the price not to exceed $46,215.18 and a 2020 5500 Dodge Plow Sander dump truck for a price not to exceed $82,063.20. And be it further resolved that the town board of the town of Kent hereby authorizes and directs the supervisor to execute any and all documents necessary to give effect to this resolution. Make this motion.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilwoman McGlasson,
Yes.
Councilman Ruthven,
Yes.
Councilman Eustace,
Yes.
Councilman Denbaum,
Yes.
Supervisor Fleming,
Yes,
motion carried.
thank you.
Thank you very much. Just quickly, I just want to let you know that our whole small fleet now is Dodges, the 3500s and the 5500s, and all the parts, we get them a lot cheaper. We buy them in groups. Everything is interchangeable, and we have a uniform small fleet. And we've done the same thing with our big fleet with the International. So it works out well. We don't have, 8 different types of parts for 8 different types of trucks. So we're pretty standardized now.
Great.
So, and thank you all. And
We
you all
didn't do your sand yet.
We're gonna do-
sorry. I was thinking of the Sandman.
I'd like to make a motion to pass a resolution awarding highway bids for highway sand and street sweeping, whereas the town of Kent advertised for bids for prices of highway sand and street sweeping to be effective from January 1st, 2021 until December 31st, 2021. And whereas bids were received and opened and publicly read at the Kent Town Center, and whereas Harlem Valley Sand and Gravel submitted the sole and therefore lowest bid for highway sand, and 3D Industrial submitted the sole and therefore lowest bid for street sweeping. Now therefore be it resolved that upon the recommendation of Highway Superintendent Othmer, the town board of the town of Kent hereby accepts the bid of Harlem Valley Sand and Gravel for highway sand and accepts the bid of 3D Industrial for street sweeping consistent with the bid proposal submitted. I make this motion.
Second, roll call, please.
Councilwoman McGlasson,
Yes.
Councilman Ruthven,
Yes.
Councilman Denbaum,
Yes.
Councilman Eustace,
Yes.
Supervisor Fleming,
Yes,
motion carried.
thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay.
Thank you, everyone.
Now you can
All
go.
right, Chief.
Good day.
Good night. The next item on the agenda is to appoint a member to the planning board and to appoint an alternate. So the only thing is we have a resolution that just has the wrong date. So a 7-year term would expire December 31st, 2027, not 2028. Is there any discussion on these appointments?
No.
No. Any member of the public want to talk about the planning board? Okay, there being none,
I make a resolution appointing member to the planning board, whereas there is a vacancy on the planning board and the town board wishes to appoint Hugo German to the planning board for a 7-year term ending December 31st, 2027, and to appoint Nassim Sachikov as an alternate member to the planning board. Now therefore be it resolved that Hugo German be appointed to the planning board with a term to expire on December 31st, 2027, and Nassim Sachikov to be appointed as an alternate member. I make that motion.
Second.
roll call.
Councilwoman McGlasson,
Yes.
Councilman Ruthven,
Yes.
Councilman Eustace,
Yes.
Councilman Denbaum,
Yes.
Supervisor Fleming,
Yes,
motion carried.
okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is for a contract annual software support for the Town of Kent's ImageMate desktop software. Nancy, were you gonna talk about this?
Yeah, this is just the annual maintenance contract that we enter into for the ImageMate software that the planning department uses. It's a mapping tool, and it also has other detailed information about all of the properties in the town of Kent. So they're just asking that it be renewed for this year at a fee of $1,500.
Okay,
Yeah. Okay, yeah, this is a great tool for them. Okay. Paul, you want to do this?
Yeah, let me get it up. All right, 1 second. I have it right here. Planning.
Why is there a number
There
one
it is.
from the resolution and a number 2 in front of whereas on that? They just typo thing?
All right, can you hear me? Because I'm looking at it on my phone at the
Yeah,
same
go
time.
ahead. Mhm.
Okay. I'd like to make a motion adopting a resolution accepting a quote for ImageMate system software for the planning department, Town of Kent. Whereas the town board, the Town of Kent has received and agreed to renew the software support for the planning department, planning board, ImageMate computer software from Systems Development Group for an annual maintenance fee of $1,500. Whereas software consists of proprietary information and the purchase constitutes a sole source contract as defined in the town's procurement policy and is therefore exempt from bidding requirements. Now therefore be it resolved, the town board of the Town of Kent hereby authorizes and approves the yearly renewal, this year's yearly renewal of the ImageMate computer software at a cost not to exceed $1,500. Be it further resolved, the town board of the Town of Kent hereby authorizes the supervisor to execute any and all documents necessary to give effect to this resolution. I make that motion.
Second.
All in favor? Can we have roll call, please?
Councilwoman McGlasson,
Yes.
Councilman Ruthven,
Yes.
Councilman Eustace,
yes,
Councilman Denbow,
Yes.
Supervisor Fleming,
Yes.
motion carried.
Sorry, my dog is having
Okay,
dreams.
Oh, I heard hiccups.
Hide.
Okay.
My dog hears your dog, sorry.
That's funny.
The dogs like to participate in government. I think that's admirable. Okay. The next item is we just put it down as the NILAF resolution. So again, Nancy, you want to talk about this?
Sure. Back in April of 2018, the town signed on to a municipal cooperation agreement with a number of other municipalities to establish the New York Liquid Asset Fund, which is what NILAF stands for. And they want to change their current investment consultant and marketing agent from RBC to a company called PMA Asset Management, which is already the fund administrator for NILAF. And in order to do that, they need to get approval from all of the participants by January 29th. So they're asking for the town board's approval as a participant to change the investment consultant and marketing advisor to PMA Asset Management.
So there's no real change for the town in doing it.
No, they believe that this will streamline its functions and perform better for the town.
Anybody have any questions?
Does
comments?
our director of finance have any comment? I know she's not here, but has she provided any of the board members or supervisory attorney any comments on this?
Yeah, she's in favor of it.
Okay.
You said it's pretty much just a formality.
Okay. That's all I have.
There's a memo in the packet.
Mhm. All right, who's reading it?
Okay.
This is a long one.
I can do it.
Okay.
I'd like to make a motion to adopt a resolution authorizing proposed amendment to NILAF Municipal Cooperation Agreement, whereas the town of Kent, the town is a participant in New York Liquid Asset Fund, NILAF, as defined in Municipal Corporation Agreement as amended and restated August 1st, 2019, the agreement, and whereas the governing board of NILAF wishes to amend the definitions of the investment consultant and marketing agreement to be PMA Asset Management LLC and PMA Securities LLC respectively, and whereas the governing board adopted a resolution on November 19th, 2020 to effect such change and seeks approval of each participant, whereas pursuant to section 13.1 of the agreement, each participant has 16 days from the date of adoption of the governing board's resolution authorizing proposed change to the governing board to approve the proposed amendment, and whereas a participant shall be deemed to have given notice of approval of the proposed amendment if it is therefore delivered to the governing board an executed counterpart of the proposed amendment and a certificate in a form acceptable to the governing board to the effect that such participant has held any necessary public hearings, conducted any necessary referrals, and obtained necessary consents from the government agencies. The proposed amendment has been approved by a majority of the voting strength of such participants' voting governing body, and such participant has satisfied any and all requirements applicable to making contracts, or I think this is us, a participant shall be deemed to have given notice pursuant to the provisions of section 7.2 hereof. Oh no, it's not us. Do we ever hold a public hearing? Do we need to?
No, we do not.
Oh, okay. All right. Now therefore be it resolved, the town board of the town of Kent, located in Putnam County, hereby approves the following. The definitions set forth in Article 1 of the agreement shall be amended as follows. Investments consultant means PMA Asset Management LLC, or such other persons who shall be acceptable to the governing board. Okay. Marketing agent means PMA Securities LLC or any other persons appointed or employed or contracted by the governing board pursuant to section 4.2 and 10.0 hereof. Services and marketing agreement shall mean any agreement entered into with respect to the portfolios by the governing board, the marketing agent pursuant to the agreement in connection with the execution of securities transactions, delivery of securities. By any other references in the agreement to RBC Global Asset Management US Inc. or RGB Capital Markets LLC in the agreement are now amended to read PMA Asset Management LLC or PMA Securities LLC. Be it further resolved that no other public hearing, necessary referenda, or government consents are necessary for the town board to approve the amendment set forth above, and there are no additional requirements to the town board in connection with such approval. And the town board has satisfied all requirements applicable to making contract in connection with the role as participant, and be it further resolved, the adoption of the resolution of the town board and its certification by the town clerk shall serve as evidence of the approval of the amendment by the majority of the town board and the executed counterpart of the proposed amendment, and the certificate required by section 13.1C of the agreement and shall constitute participant approval of the amendment requested by the governing board. I make that motion.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilwoman McGlasson,
Yes.
Councilman Ruthven,
Yes.
Councilman Eustace,
Yes.
Councilman Denbow,
Yes.
Supervisor Fleming,
Yes,
motion carried.
thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, the next item, we have a letter from Calculated Fire Protection Company Incorporated. They did an inspection in December. This was, the inspection was December 10th. The letter was December 29th. And we received it January 7th. Based on our inspection conducted on Thursday, December 10th, 2020, please be advised that the following conditions exist. The associated cost for each repair is listed next to the description of the condition. Please note that the prices do not include sales tax, which we don't pay. Police station, the antifreeze temperature is high at 20 degrees Fahrenheit due to a leaking 4-inch check valve for the gel protection. This means that the antifreeze will gel once temperatures reach 20 degrees or lower. When the solution gels, the sprinkler pipe and heads will clog during activation, preventing the water from extinguishing the fire. Additionally, the gelled solution caused damage to the system piping, We recommend to drain, flush, and recharge of the system with 40 gallons of glycol antifreeze. While the system is drained, the leaking 4-inch G by G check valve will be removed and replaced with new. And the cost of this is $1,675. I think this is certainly something we need to have done with for our police station, especially since we are getting colder temperatures. And so I recommend we move on this evening.
I make a resolution authorizing a contract with Calculated Fire Protection Company, Inc. Whereas the town of Kent receives an inspection report from Calculated Fire Protection Company Incorporated, which recommended the draining, flushing, and recharging of the antifreeze system at the police station to prevent the clogging of the sprinkler pipes. And whereas Calculated Fire Protection Company, Inc. has provided a proposal for such services to be performed for a cost of $1,675. And whereas the town board believes it to be in the best interest of the town to accept the proposal of Calculated Fire Protection Company, Inc. and authorize the payment of the requested cost. Now therefore be it resolved, the town board of the town of Kent hereby accepts the proposal of Calculated Fire Protection Company, Inc. for a cost of $1,675. And be it further resolved, the town supervisor is hereby authorized and directed to execute any and all agreements and other documents necessary to give effect to this resolution consistent with the terms hereof, all in form satisfactory to the supervisor and the town attorney. I make that motion.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilwoman McGlasson? Councilman Ruthven?
Yes.
Councilman Eustace?
Yes.
Councilman Denbow?
Yes.
Supervisor Fleming?
Yes,
Motion carried.
thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. The next item is the revised maintenance agreement. We actually had, we had approved the maintenance agreement in, when did we do that?
December
15th.
15th.
But there's been a change in pricing. Do you want to speak to that, Nancy?
Sure. When we got the original proposal and approved it back in December, it did not include the right equipment at the highway garage because since last year, one of the generators has been replaced and it's an upgraded model. So they've sent us a revised bill for the correct equipment now. That's $310 more than the one we approved. So we need to rescind the one that we approved and approve the updated invoice.
There also is an option for a 3-year contract, but there is no break in price. It's not that we get a better price. It's just it holds that price steady for 3 years, and we can cancel, I think, without penalty. But it's not, it's not a savings if we go with a 3-year.
Maureen,
Yes.
the generators for the sewer district, they're separate? Are they GenServe?
I think everything we have is GenServe.
That's a
Maybe
separate
not,
agreement?
because they are not on this.
Separate agreement, I believe.
Right. This covers town hall, police department, the water district, and highway.
Seems like since we bought a brand new generator, our maintenance costs should go down. When you buy a new car, you don't have to spend as much to keep it maintained.
Yeah. Yeah, they haven't changed our rates according to them since 2014.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
We ready to do this one? You say we got to do a resolution to rescind the first one?
No, it's
Full
in
part of
the
it.
It's in
resolution.
there.
All right, I'd like to make a motion to pass a resolution authorizing a contract with GenServe Incorporated, whereas the town of Kent desires to enter into a service maintenance agreement to maintain the generators at the Town Hall, Police Department, Kent Highway Department, and Water District Number 1. Whereas GenServe Incorporated has provided a proposal for such services in 2 different plans, the A service and the B service. A copy of said proposal is annexed here too and incorporated herein by reference the proposal. And whereas by resolution number 372 adopted by the town board on December 15th, 2020, the town board authorized the town supervisor to enter into a service maintenance agreement with GenServe Incorporated. And whereas the town board wishes to rescind resolution number 372 authorizing the town supervisor to enter into a service maintenance agreement consistent with the annexed proposal. And whereas the town believes it to be in the best interest of the town to accept the GenServe Incorporated proposal at a yearly cost of $7,285. Now therefore it be resolved that resolution number 372 is hereby rescinded, and be it further resolved, the town board of the town of Kent hereby accepts the proposal of GenServe Incorporated at an annual rate of $7,285, and be it further resolved, the town supervisor is hereby authorized and directed to execute any and all agreements and other documents necessary to give effect to this resolution consistent with the terms hereof, all in form satisfactory to the supervisor and the town attorney. I make this motion.
Second for discussion, do we want to do a 1 year or a 3 year? The only benefit of a 3 year is that it locks the price in for 3 years.
Is there any other generators that we may have to?
Sewer district, that's,
The sewer district number 2 doesn't have a generator, does it, Jamie?
No, you mean the water district?
Water
I'm
district.
sorry, water district number 2 doesn't have a generator, I don't think.
Yours doesn't, no. I mean, I get the alerts every day on my phone for the generator at Water District 1, but no, I don't believe.
Right.
I don't think so.
Paul, you don't get any text, do you, about the generator?
No, I do, but I thought it was the same. I think we're on the same text.
It's mine.
I get them too.
Yeah. Lucky.
Stop getting them.
I like it because it lets you know if you think power is going to come back soon or not.
I know, that is true.
Oh, it's back on the other side of town. It's
So
coming.
what happens in Water District 2 when the power goes out? They don't get water? There's
Same
no
thing that happens to us well drinkers.
Okay.
So do we want to keep it as a 1 year or a 3?
We're not gaining anything by the one other than the price may go up, but like you said, it hasn't went up since 2014.
Mhm. So keep it as a 1?
Mhm.
I think
Okay.
so.
All right. All right. So can we have roll call, please?
Councilwoman McGlasson,
Yes.
Councilman Denbaum,
Yes.
Councilman Ruthven,
Yes.
Councilman Hustis,
Yes.
Supervisor Fleming,
Yes,
motion carried.
thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, the next item is to re-advertise an RFP for on-call plumbing, electrician, masonry, and handyman services. We put this out in October. We didn't get any bids for any of these services. And so we had thought we could go off the county bids on this, but our deputy supervisor checked into that and there was not one Putnam County company on the list. The county goes off Dutchess County, if I'm correct, Bill.
Yes.
And there were no providers from Putnam County. So let's try to get some Putnam County providers to bid on this, maybe even some Kent business people to bid on these services. So I propose that we put it back out for bid.
I do have a question though.
Yes.
You mentioned plumbing, electrician, masonry, and handyman. I'm gonna throw some things out and, you know, Chris and the group here can tell me no or yes, but painters, air condition repairmen, and carpenters.
Carpenters was jumping out at me too, Bill. And you're right. HVAC would probably be a good one to have in there. Heating
Okay.
and air conditioning.
I mean,
Yeah,
we've had air condition repairmen at the town center. I don't know if there's what's going on. And as we do this, we gotta make sure that everybody's above board, because right now, and I think Chris Rufin said this, in doing this, we're hopefully gonna save some money, and it'd be great to have, a few resident businesses hooked in with this. But like Highway has their own contractors, police department has, I think I've seen like 5 different electricians. And I don't know what the price is, but if we can save some money, it's very, very important. And when I got the message from Dutchess County, I went on their website. It's huge, but I didn't see any Putnam County people. But again, there's another reason for that. County Highway has their own, I think they used to, had their own electrician and some tradespeople on staff, unless it's been changed, because they always did our jobs, County Highway guys.
Okay.
But
Well, I think it's a good idea.
I know our
Yeah.
town center needs painting in the areas there, in the hallways, the outside hallways, and maybe there's some other painting needs, but it doesn't hurt. But it's up to you guys.
I think it should be in there too, though.
Carpentry,
And they should
HVAC,
be licensed.
painters.
Yeah,
License.
carpentry, HVAC, and painting.
Licensed workers, right? Nancy?
Yes,
Licensed and insured.
absolutely.
All right, you ready to do this one again?
That-
I'd like to make a motion to pass a resolution authorizing the town clerk to advertise requests for proposals for on-call plumbing, electrician, masonry, handyman/repair, HVAC, carpentry, and painting services. Whereas the town board wishes to advertise it is seeking proposals for on-call plumbing, electrician, masonry, handyman/repair, HVAC, carpentry, and painting. And now therefore be resolved that the town board of the town of Kent hereby authorizes this town clerk, Yolanda D. Capelli, to advertise for requests for proposals for on-call plumbing, electrician, masonry, handyman/repair services, HVAC, carpentry, and painting services. I make this motion.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilwoman McGlasson,
Yes.
Councilman Ruthven,
Yes.
Councilman Hustis,
Lana, when you get that proposal, could you throw it in my mailbox? I want to see if I can throw a bunch out to the locals. And it's a yes, definitely.
okay, Councilman Denbound,
Yes.
Supervisor Fleming,
Yes.
motion carried.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I have an addition. Everybody got an email. Unfortunately, it was too late to send this out with the agenda. So we got a memo from our code enforcer about a violation on a property, 5 Whittier Road. And there is a broken window and a lot of debris. The above described premises, described structure is in a state of disrepair in that windows in the rear of the site are broken out and building debris is present on the deck. Structure must be secured and debris removed. Generally, I tell the code enforcer he has to, get it to us a little earlier so that we can, get this on the agenda. He actually gave me a couple of other ones that I thought we needed to kind of put in the agenda. But this one, he was really urging us to move on since the windows are broken and he wants the building secured. So he got 3 quotes. Well, he tried to get 3 quotes. He got F.I. Adams, $500. Rona Landscaping and Dirt and Demo Incorporated failed to submit a bid. So if the board would like to move ahead with this, I would go ahead and make a motion to add this resolution to the agenda.
Maureen, I would encourage that. It's one of my 120 plus on my list.
Yeah.
And it's been in that condition for some time, so I highly encourage working with Bill Looney on this.
Second.
Okay, so, all
I
right,
got
so-
one question quickly. I'm not familiar with Whittier Road. Where is that?
Lake Carmel.
Is it Lake Carmel Road?
Yeah, Lake Carmel Road. It's probably not too big. Might be off Barrett. It might be have only a few homes.
I don't think it's off Barrett, is it?
I know it's Lake Carmel.
all right, so did that count as me making a motion to add it?
Yes.
think
Yes,
Paul,
yeah.
Paul seconded. All right, roll call, please.
Councilwoman McGlasson,
Yes.
Councilman Ruthven,
Yes.
Councilman Eustace,
Yes.
Councilman Denbaum,
Yes.
Supervisor Fleming,
Yes,
motion carried.
okay.
So it is off Harvard Drive and Chatham Road. It's in like, connects kind of both of them.
Mm.
I was close. I knew it was Lake
That's
Carmel.
not close.
All right. Does somebody else want to do this resolution or?
I'll make a motion to pass a resolution authorizing correction of a violation, acceptance of proposal and charge to property owner 5 Whittier Road. Whittier. Whereas the code enforcement officer of the town of Kent issued an order to remedy a violation dated December 29th, 2020. The order to remedy directing the owner to remove rubbish from the exterior of the property identified as 5 Whittier Road, Kent, New York, the property. And whereas the order to remedy directs the owner to correct the violation or respond to the code enforcement officer within 10 days, and to date the owner of the property has not responded or corrected the violations. And whereas pursuant to Chapter 55A of the Town Code of the Town of Kent regarding property maintenance, upon the failure of any owner to comply, the building inspector is authorized to correct a violation subject to approval of the town board, and the town board wishes to authorize the building inspector to correct the violation. And whereas consistent with the town's procurement policy, the town of Kent requested 3 written proposals from contractors to correct the violation excuse me, on the property, and received 1 proposal in response from FI Adams Incorporated in the amount of $500. A copy of said proposal is annexed here to and incorporated by reference. And now therefore it be resolved, the town board of the town of Kent hereby accepts the bid of FI Adams Incorporated for the correction of the violation at a cost not to exceed $500, and further resolve that the actual cost of the correction of the violation plus the accrued legal rate of interest from the date of completion of the work shall be charged to the property owner by the town in accordance with Chapter 55A-12B. I make this motion.
Second, roll call, please.
Councilwoman McGlasson,
Yes.
Councilman Eustace,
Yes.
Councilman Ruthven,
Yes.
Councilman Denbaum,
Yes.
Supervisor Fleming,
Yes,
motion carried.
thank you.
You're welcome.
Ready, more?
Go ahead.
I'd like you to approve the following vouchers as of January 19th, 2021 that are over the threshold for 2020 vouchers. That'd be 2020 as of January 19th, 2021. Beacon Recycling, $4,446.72 for sanitation. Carmel Animal Hospital, $2,067.72 for dog control. Champion Salt, $16,360.10 for road salt. City Carting and Recycling, Inc., $5,056.33 for Lake Carmel garbage, $5,851.81 for Lake Carmel garbage, and $7,214.78 for Lake Carmel garbage. The Sport Tech Construction Corporation, $56,000 for the Lake Carmel Community Center fence. The new fence was put up in Lake Carmel. Stronghold Industries LLC, $7,708.20 for municipal repair parts. The Town of Kent Municipal Repairs, $26,801.96. That's the December monthly chargebacks for our highway department. And in 2021, City Carting and Recycling, Inc., $8,048.58, Lake Carmel garbage. I ask you to approve as read.
Second, can we have roll call, please?
Councilwoman McGlasson,
Yes.
Councilman Eustace,
Yes.
Councilman Ruthven? Councilman Ruthven? Councilman
Yes.
Denbow? Councilman Denbow?
Yes.
Supervisor Fleming?
Yes,
Motion carried.
thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, announcements. I have one announcement. The New York Riders contacted me. I think I've been singing the praises of the New York Riders for quite some time. They do a lot of work with our veterans, and they're a great organization. They work throughout the county. They contacted me because every late winter, they run a Shamrocks for Heroes mission, and they have a different project every year. And this year, and they run it as a fundraiser, and they, raise money for wonderful causes. This year, they are, the fundraiser is to erect a battlefield cross monument to be placed at the Putnam County Veterans Memorial Park in memory and honor of all those who made the ultimate sacrifice on the battlefield. And so they approached me and asked if we would put a collection jar in Town Hall. We placed it in the lobby. It's clearly marked for the New York Riders for this purpose. And so you can if you come into Town Hall, if you want to make a donation, or you can send something to the New York Riders for Ellen Avenue, Brewster, New York, 10509. And they also accept Venmo at New York Riders Putnam County, 845-200-9740. They're really a tremendous group of people who, they visit our veterans in the veterans home. They go and celebrate their birthdays, albeit, in the time of COVID. They do it with distancing. They do drive-bys. They attend the funerals of our veterans and do flag lines. They're really a great organization. So if you come into Town Hall, Shamrocks for Heroes, there will be a collection jar, and we can probably put this up or share it on the town Facebook page. And that was my announcement.
Maureen, are we allowed to do that in Town Hall?
I'm
just curious, because we'll have every
in the
nonprofit.
I think Bill's concerned about the prohibition on solicitation that towns are not allowed to do, but this isn't really for the town. It's a different entity, so I don't really see a problem with it.
And what about security? If there's going to be a cash thing out in the lobby?
I'll walk
Just
by
think
it
about
every
it.
day.
Yeah. It's your decision, but just think about it.
I mean, I could always put it in my
I know we were worried at one point with the arts, there was pictures or something, and there was something was going to be displayed was worth money, and we decided we were concerned about it and didn't do it. But it's your decision. It's no question. The Riders are a great organization. It's probably a great cause. It's just want to make sure that we don't make the headlines in the next week's paper for something that,
Thank you, Bill. We'll be careful.
I'm sorry. Keeping an eye on you.
Okay. Anybody else have anything? Okay. Public comment. Does any member of the public want to be heard on anything? If you do, please raise your hand in the go to reactions.
Good evening.
Okay.
Kotzer?
Okay.
You hear me?
Yes, Sue.
Going back to number 2D, planning, appoint a new member and an alternate member of the planning board.
Yes.
It wasn't on the backup material. Could you repeat the names of the people?
Yes, Hugo German was appointed to the planning board and Nassim Sakakov
Sakharov, yeah.
was appointed as an alternate.
Okay, I know him. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, also, Ken Recycling, we have a truck ordered. Does anybody have any, date that we might be accepting delivery of that truck?
I don't know. I know it's ordered. I don't know when it's coming yet. I mean, whenever we order trucks or whatever, they do take a long time.
Okay.
When was it ordered?
Back in, I want to say December.
It's gonna, if most of these
It takes
trucks they
months.
make, it's gonna take months. You
More
could
like
be 6 months
November.
from now.
I think it was more like October, November.
November? Okay.
I think so.
They do take a while.
Okay.
I think
You
even
check
Chris
with-
can attest to that with the county.
Check with municipal repairs.
What about the county, Jamie?
I was saying that I think Chris can attest to that when we order trucks, no matter where, that they take a very long time.
They could take half the year, if not more, especially if they're being custom built for any reason.
Okay, thank you. Have a good night.
Good night. Anyone else? Okay. There being no other comments? Anyone else have any announcements, or do I hear a motion? Okay. Nobody else is raising their hand. I make a motion to close the meeting.
Second?
We need roll call on this.
Do we want roll call? Councilwoman McGlasson?
Yes.
Councilman Denbaum?
Yes.
Councilman Ruthven?
Yes.
Councilman Eustace?
Okay.
Supervisor Fleming?
Yes,
Motion carried.
thank you.
You're welcome.
Did we want,
Are we
Bill,
going
you're
to
shaking,
executive session
Bill,
tonight?
you're shaking your head. Do you want to adjourn to executive session?
I'll catch you later. No, I'm not gonna, it's okay. I'll have more stuff in a couple weeks.
I mean, I can rescind my motion if
No,
you,
no, that's okay.
I was waiting for somebody to say it.
I know, I was,
Do you want to go into executive
no,
session?
fine,
Okay.
I'm fine.
Okay,
I'll go with the boss.
Good night.
thank you all. Good night. See you in a couple of weeks.